Good morning. I started thinking this morning I'd do a video on emotions and how a lot of our emotions keep us stuck in survival mode. Anger, frustration, even sadness and depression and fear of moving forward. And we all get into these different areas of emotion, and letting go is so much better, and especially like with when you're angry at so many people and you find fault with so many people, and the same things keep coming up over and over again, different people, but it's the same issue over and over again. And then you have to look inside yourself and you have to go, okay, why am I bringing this into this situation? Why is this happening again and again and again? And I myself have known that I do this, and I've started now focusing on, okay, what can I do about it? I also, with certain pains that I'm in, that I create for myself, I say that because I do believe I create it for myself, and I have for quite a long time. But trying to work over what emotions going on, or so that's like the book Louise Hay wrote, You Can Heal Your Life. I just love that book. It helps, and every time I get like some sort of something happening that's lasting longer than I would like, I go, okay, what could it mean in Louise book? So I look it up online, and I just put in whatever's wrong, and then I say Louise Hay, and it always comes up with something for me. And so this morning, which is hilarious because I've had this like, it doesn't hurt like all the time, but like when I move, it's like, oh yeah, right. So which is good because uh, it would be annoying if it was there. And it's kind of like a dull pain and not a, a really achy pain, but it's a muscle and it feels like a knot. And it's in my left side. So I know left is family and right is, for me, this is how I've learned, left is family and right is work. So on my left side, my shoulder area, my shoulder back area is, I have that knot, right? So I go and I do some research and I realize that that it's, for me, it's like holding on to something that's emotional that I don't want to let go. And I can't breathe, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. What a perfect. I was just thinking about talking about emotions today. So sometimes things come up and we don't even realize that we're giving them an emotional, like putting an emotion on them. And it could be like somebody else, or like somebody said something, or somebody did something, or it could be that something's happening over and over again and we don't want to deal with it because it's the same thing over and over again and we're really not sure how to deal with it. We've expressed ourselves over and over again in different ways and it's still coming up and we still don't know how to deal with it. Maybe it's a lot of little things and it's all around a similar thing and you really just don't want to deal with it. Maybe. Then again, maybe it's just the way you slept, bringing the past into the now. Maybe it's, it could be many different things, right? Maybe we're still healing. I think for me, I used to think I healed enough in my life. I went through a crazy childhood with crazy things happening. I went I went through a lot of traumatic experiences to adult where, again, I experienced many crazy things and through a lot of trauma. And I thought, I'm done healing. I've healed it all. And um, to be on my spiritual journey, my healing journey, my journey to myself. And I thought there was an outcome somewhere. And then I realized I fell down a dark hole, dark rabbit hole, where I was cold and alone, and I didn't even know who I was. After all those years of learning and studying, and I still couldn't figure out what was going on, because there was still stuff I wasn't ready to let go, because I wasn't ready to acknowledge that actually bothered me, that there was actual hurt there. And I needed to let it go. I needed to realize that it's okay, that that's who I was, and I needed to be okay with who I was. That's a big one. I know for many of us, we put so much on ourselves. We got to be the people pleaser. We got to go to all the events. We got to go. We have to make up excuses on why we can't go to the events. We got to justify ourselves. We got to, we got to keep it going, right? I don't know. But there's always like something, right? We talk ourselves out of the good things we want to do, the things that enhance our life, because it's too scary. Maybe it's not right for us. Whatever the excuses is. Whatever the excuses are, we make them for ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves. Maybe we believed that it was because of us, that's why. But anyways, the emotions get trapped. And I had to go down this deep, dark hole to actually realize something I had been learning, and understanding to a point, but not completely understanding. And that is, we get to choose who we want to be in every moment. When we choose to quit our job and allow the cards to fall where they may, when we decide we are going to write a book, and again decide where the cards are going to be, when we decide we're going to, no matter what, make a promise to our child that we're going to take care of them for the rest of their life, and because they can't do it themselves, that's our choice. If we decide we're going to hold on to regret, guilt, trauma, and not forgive and let go, that's our choice. I know it doesn't seem like a choice, but it's still a choice. When we decide to stay with people who mistreat us, that's a choice. And I never understood that. I understood, because then I would have to go back through all of my life and realize that I was responsible for so much of it. I wasn't responsible for what others did to me. No, I wasn't responsible for a lot of stuff that happened in my childhood. No, maybe not. But I was responsible for how I acted, how I reacted, and how I created it into the trauma that it became, and how I created survival modes in that process that I brought with me through adulthood to continue cycles, to continue through with my survival. And survival is not bad. It's not a bad thing, but you don't have to stay in survival your whole life. You don't. You can stay, you can live your life. You can learn to live in every moment instead of surviving in every moment. And it takes you being responsible for you. Now, I read many, many, many books and some resonated with me, and some were harder to understand, especially back then. But there were some I just absorbed, and some that I never got to finish. And I'll go back and finish them one day. At this moment, though, I'm just learning different ways. And of course, writing and doing videos and helping others is another way. Writing my books, writing my blogs, doing courses, creating courses, and doing videos to help are helping me understand way better on what it is that I'm experiencing right now. And that is that you are responsible for you. You are responsible for who you want to be and who you need to be in every moment. You are responsible for your reactions, your actions, your triggers, your ego, your thought process, your feelings. All of it is your responsibility. You are your responsibility. No, you're not responsible for all the trauma that happened, but you are responsible now for healing that trauma and choosing to heal that trauma. And maybe it'll take a lifetime for you to heal that trauma, and that's okay. That's okay. You got that. You got it. You are responsible for all of it. And I think, like, there's so many who think that they don't want to tell people that they're responsible. But I think, like, how can you not give them that opportunity? Yes, some of it's going to be hard to realize that they are choosing to continue in that cycle. But it's okay if you choose to be in that cycle. You're in survival mode, and that's okay. To let them know that everything they do is okay is better than stopping them from realizing that they too can change. They too, if they choose, and if they're ready, they can change who they need to be. It's up to them. And the tools are pretty simple, but they need to choose it. The tools are baby steps. That's it. It's one day at a time. I heard this while going to Alateen and Al-Anon. One day at a time, one moment at a time. And it is so true. You get to choose who you want to be in one moment at a time. And sometimes that is just being okay with who you are. And sometimes that's sticking up for yourself. And sometimes it's just being quiet. And sometimes it's being frustrated. And sometimes it's being overjoyed. And sometimes it's letting people go. And sometimes it's allowing people to go. And sometimes it's falling apart. And sometimes it's an absolute mess and chaos. And that's okay too. When you realize that it is okay, but knowing that you get to choose and you get to create and you get to be whoever you want to be in every moment. And sometimes it's hard to decide you want to be that person, and sometimes habits come in, but being okay with yourself, even though those habits come in. Being okay with you no matter what, because you're worth it. You're worth being okay with you. You're worth learning to be you. Your emotions, your thoughts, your actions, reactions, triggers, ego, all of it is you. I mean, you're more than all of those, but they're who you get to choose to be. You are here to be you. And it doesn't matter what that looks like, as long as you're choosing it every day. And the steps are baby steps, like I said. So the minute you're aware that, okay, I get to choose me, today I think I'll get up and I'll brush my hair. Today I think instead of staying at home and being yelled at, I'll go for a walk. Instead of being angry at everybody, I will let go. I'll let go of the anger that I thought was protecting me for so long, but all it was doing was bringing me down, keeping control of me. Instead of pleasing everybody, you decide, today I'm just going to please me, and I'm just going to do one thing I really want to do. And it could be as simple as taking a bath and taking an hour to yourself. Maybe it's having a cup of coffee in a coffee shop by yourself, or going for that walk by yourself. Maybe it's calling that person that you're missing, because even though you let them go, even though you decided that you were mad at them, you've decided to forgive them, and you've decided that you're gonna just call them and let them know you're thinking of them. Maybe it's just snuggling your dog today. Maybe, just maybe, it's writing. It doesn't matter what it is. Taking time for you is really important. Allowing your emotions is important. Sometimes we hide our emotions, and we hide it with food, and we hide it with video games, and we hide it with online friends, and we hide it with a messy house, and we hide it with not wanting to participate in helping with our house, with our chores, with our maybe we live with a group of people and we just don't want to help, so we don't clean up after ourselves, or we do the bare minimum of helping out. And so maybe today we're going to go the extra mile, and we're going to do extra cleaning. Maybe we're going to wash walls and sweep, mop floors, or dust, or whatever it is. Maybe we're going to take the dog out extra, or maybe we don't take the dog out and we're going to take the dog out. Maybe we're going to just, like I said, take a bath. Maybe we're going to meditate for the first time. It doesn't really matter what it is we're going to do. Maybe today we just take care of us. We look at our emotions and we go, okay, what am I holding on to? What came up around this time that affected me? Here's to me. This is to me. That affected me, that created this sore in my back, my shoulder area. And then I analyze it and I go, oh, it could be this, or it could be this. So what could I heal? What could I let go? What could I think is bugging me that I can let go of today? That I could let go and forgive. That I could forgive and let go and move myself away from attachment, from this situation. Attachment, that's huge, huge. So we get so attached to things, and then when they're not going our way, we're like listening to other people, and then they're telling us what our attachments are, and they're telling us how unhealthy things are, and we listen to these people. They don't know us. They just hear your story. That's a good one, a story, because I'm going to talk about mine in another video. A story they hear your story and then they give you advice, and then you go, oh yeah, I'm really mad at that person, so I think I'm going to believe their story on what's happening. And yes, and I'm going to blame that person more, and I'm going to be more and more angry with that person. And even though I know it's not true, the more I stay with that anger, the more I want it to be true. The more I'm creating that evil story. Because if they're the villain in my story, I'm never ever accountable for what's going on. And even though the people that are telling you that, and this is funny, the people that are telling you that that person or situation or thing is the villain, the person that's telling you that is also somebody you have been angry with and you have not liked. But you're willing to believe them. You're willing to go, okay, I'm okay with their story because it suits me. I don't have to look inside me. I don't have to deal with this is my problem. I get to continue going about my angry life. I don't have to believe that other person. I can stay angry. And then you stay angry, and you stay angry, and you stay angry, and you live a whole life of angry, wondering why. And then eventually you're mad at that person again anyways, because they're not who you need them to be, and they're not doing what you need them to do. And so now you're angry with them again, and then you find more people to be angry with and more people, and you live an angry life. You hate your job, you hate where you live, you hate who you live with, you all your friends you hate, you have no friends, you create an isolation with yourself, and you're bitter and angry. And then at the end of your life, you say, is that all I came here to do? Was to be angry? What a life I lived. Life is too short. Life is too short for you to be angry. Life is too short for you to allow other people to take your power. Life is too short for you not to be who you want to be in every moment. And yes, if that's angry, go for it. Nobody's going to stop you. But the more you cut people out, the more you won't have those people to tell you, hey, you know what? You don't need to be angry. You're a good person. If you forgive, let go, and allow it to to be completely released, you will never experience it again. The funny thing is, I know one of the issues that came up, actually two things that came up for me for this shoulder. And they're not big issues, which is why I think it's just a little weird knot instead of a big painful one. Is because there are issues I'm working on. So one is I got this call, or yes, I had a phone call. I won second prize of a scholarship. I couldn't accept it because financially it was still a lot of money, but I was so excited that I got this opportunity. I kept trying to talk myself out of it, and I realized three really important things for me, but I had been holding on to this anxiety before the call, and I forgot to release it. So that was number one. Three things I learned from the call before I skip past it, and I may go into detail in another video on this later, but number one is I like to make excuses for myself. A habit that when I'm in an uncomfortable situation, that I don't have to deal with the uncomfortable situation, and I probably shouldn't deal with the uncomfortable situation, and I'll give myself 100 different excuses. And two is I don't believe in myself enough. Although I've done so many things to allow myself the ability to believe that I'm capable of doing things, And I do believe I'm capable of doing things, but I still try and talk myself out of them because I don't want to believe in myself that much. And I have to actually force myself to do things. So even creating the books, and I'll go into more detail in a different video. And the third thing is, um, and I talk myself out of everything, even if I really want to do it. I I do. I talk myself out of things. So I guess they're similar to, all three of them kind of run in together, all three of, which is hilarious because I do it all at the same time. It's like I make excuses on why I talk myself out of things, and then I make excuses on why, and I don't believe in myself enough, and that's why those two exist. So I started realizing from the phone call that that was actually a good phone call, because then I became aware of these three things, three habits that I keep bringing up and I need to let go of. So I will be working on that, and I'll go into more details on that. Another thing is letting people do and be who they want to be and do. It's easier said than done. And even when you look at it, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that it should be easy. I mean, I don't want to control people, right? None of us want to control people. But when the same thing comes up over and over and over and over again, and you're invested in a situation, and then you're like, and then this person decides they're going to go and do whatever it is they're going to go and do, and then you're like, wait a minute, and you still have, and so I've been working on this situation, so it still came up for me, but at the same time I was like, whatever, none of my business, but I could still feel a little bit of emotion. So and it was more of like wording, or how it was presented to me of the situation, and so I still found myself getting annoyed. So then there's annoying feeling, right? So when you're dealing with yourself, you have to really analyze, maybe not analyze, but realize, okay, this feeling is there, experience this feeling, love yourself anyways, love them, send them love, let them go, let them do them. Let it go, because you're worth so much more, right? Yes, sure, it may hurt a little, may be a little annoying, maybe you'll end up with a little pain, but let it go, because it's so much better for you to just let go. If you take things too personally, it's not a good thing. Everybody gets to live their life. Everybody is here for a reason, including you. You have a purpose. You have a purpose in this lifetime. You get to choose who you want to be, and you get to choose the emotions that you want to have. You get to choose the thought process you want to have. You get to choose to be you, the best you. You get to choose you, the best you. Um, every moment of every day is a choice. Our emotions, sometimes we don't even realize, but the more we pay attention to our emotions, the more we choose to be in the moment. This is big, because it's so true. Eckhart Tolle has come up with many books on the subject, but the more you stay in this moment, the more you realize what is real and what isn't. So in this moment right now, I'm having a conversation with you through video. I'm having my lemon warm water. It is early morning for me. Well, not early anymore, but probably about 6:30, 7 o'clock. And my dog is sitting on the floor, laying on the floor in front of me. I'm sitting in a chair. This is in the moment. The more we focus on in the moment, I'm safe in my home. I have a roof over my head. It's raining outside. I can hear the rain. I can hear my bird. She's back there. And I can see my plants. Matthew is awake, and I've already taken care of him. Everybody else in my house is sleeping. In this moment, everything is good. In this moment, somebody else is awake. In this moment is where I am. And the more we focus on this moment, we get to choose it. The more we focus on what we think happened, what issues are going on for us. In this moment, I feel good. My emotions I'm aware of. I'm aware of my thoughts. I'm aware of what I'm creating in this moment. And the more we focus on, so just as simple as when somebody says something about you, they misunderstood you, they heard you wrong, whatever it was, and you get your feelings hurt. They're your feelings. It has nothing to do with them. It has to do with you and your feelings. So you're choosing then to be upset. So, and this still happens to me. In fact, it happened yesterday. And I chose to figure out me and my emotions and walk and go for a walk and figure out why this came up. So why was I emotional? Why didn't I just accept, okay, well, that makes sense. He didn't understand, or they didn't understand. That's okay. Let's move on and have fun, right? I had to get my emotions correct so that I could feel better, right? If you're going to be angry and keep anger, there's so many things that can happen in that moment just from that little conversation. But if you let go, like allow your emotions, yes, definitely allow your emotions, but create a safe space for yourself. So you're allowed your emotions, right? But also be aware that you are choosing these emotions. You're creating these emotions by whatever thought's going on, right? So choose who you want to be in that moment. And then allow yourself to cry if you need to. Allow yourself whatever it is you need to do. But remember, it's your power. So you can create a safe space for you. You don't need to be around other people. Go for a walk. That's the biggest thing, like a lot of us don't realize, is that just because we're in the heat of a situation, if somebody says something that upsets us, we don't have to stay and argue. We don't have to stay and allow our power to go. We can just leave, go for a walk, try and figure it out, and create a better space for us in our own head, in our own body, to create what it is we want to create, being in every moment. You get to choose you. So you get to choose your emotions. You get to choose your thoughts. You get to choose it all. So when something comes up, just go away, get yourself together, figure it out, figure out where it came from, then talk to whoever it is that that the issue is, if you want to talk to them. And if you don't, then let it go. And maybe this is a thing that comes all the time and you're ready to move on. That's okay too. That's up to you. But in this moment, you get to choose. And when we bring ourselves back to this moment in every moment, and we choose this moment in every moment, it gets better and better. You are in control of your emotions. We don't think we are, but we are. Every emotion you have, every thought you have is up to you. If you are not handling or controlling your emotions, they will get out of control. like I mentioned earlier, you'll get angry and then angry and angry and angry, sad and sad and sad, depressed, 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 all of it. And we don't realize, and this was big for me because I was I went through it many times in my life where I was very depressed, and when I didn't know that I was in control of them, I allowed myself many times to get really, really depressed. And we don't know we're in control of our own depression. We don't realize this, of course. And even to this day, when I find myself starting to allow my thoughts to get there, I still have, now I remind myself way sooner than I ever have, but I still have those thoughts, and like my depression thoughts and emotions, and but I was told I would have to be on antidepressants my whole life. I chose not to, so I've dealt with it myself. And now, knowing what I know, I can talk myself back into better moods faster than I've ever been able to in my whole life. But I have the tools available. I never had the tools available before. This doesn't mean that I don't allow myself to get there. When something happens, a trigger happens, an emotional state happens, somebody says or does something that triggers something I haven't healed yet, or I'm in the middle of healing. And sometimes healing takes a longer time, but this is what I was saying earlier. I believe healing is a lifetime journey because we're always going to get triggered by trauma. And sometimes we're going to breeze through it, and sometimes it's going to be a little harder and a little more to deal with. There's a lot of things that as a person dealing with other people that we go through. So we get to choose all of it, including our healing process. This is Rose. She's just hanging out with me. Our traumas, our depression, I know it sounds I'm going to say hard to understand, which is why a lot of people don't want to let people know, their clients know, that it is their choice, that they are choosing it. It's hard. I know. I get it. I've been there. I didn't even understand, even when I was told that, I didn't understand the whole thought process of it. It just, for me, it helped me realize that as easily as I fell down the rabbit hole, it may take a little longer to get back up, but I could get back up. I could change who I was. I could choose a better me and create a better me for me and everybody else around me. I could be anybody I wanted to be, even though I was told I had learning disabilities my whole life. I could do what I wanted to do. I could write books. I could create blog posts. I could create courses. I could do anything I wanted to do. I could coach people. I could counsel people. I actually went back to school and learned how to be a counselor and family counseling, addiction counseling, personal counseling, trauma counseling, employment counseling. I took many courses to be able to counsel people. So there's so many things that I did that I proved to myself, and I worked as a counselor in different fields, and even owned my own practice for a while. And I proved to myself I could do it. I didn't always believe in myself, but there's still this issue of a learning disability would come up over and over and over again. I've written books. I've done all these many things, but it was only me stopping me. And when I realized that, it was me stopping me, it was so much easier to get me to be who I want to be in every moment. You're only in one moment at a time. A few minutes ago when I started this video was a different moment than the person I am right now. You get to choose you. You get to choose the best you, with all your traumas, with all your issues with people, with all your anger, with all your frustration, with all your sadness, with all your depression, with all of your joy, with all of your happiness, with all of your love. You get to choose it all. Instead of depression, I think of gratitude. And if I can't get that far, because it's quite far, I think of anger. Then I think of sadness. And then I think of happy, joy, love, gratitude. And I work my way up. I take baby steps. I go through many, many baby steps along the way. You get to choose you. You get to choose all of you. All I want to do is empower you to realize that you are the change you want to see in the world. You're the change you want to see in your life. From one moment to the next, it's up to you. This is your life, and you get to be a part of all of it. All you got to do is choose you. All you got to do is, most of the time in survival mode, we don't even know what our next moment looks like. We don't even have goals. Not goals for the day, not goals for the week, not goals for the year or the month. We just go about our business surviving. Somebody yelling at us, somebody calling us name, barely making it financially, moment to moment, bit to bit. I know. I've been there. It's not easy. But when you make sure that you're taking care of you, it gets better. When you fall in love with who you are, it gets better. When you think about what you're grateful for, it gets better. When you slip and you fall into depression again, and you remember you can take baby steps, and you can be okay with where you are right now, it's okay. It's okay. Think of the things that you were able to do today. So sometimes in depression, you can't even get clean clothes on. Sometimes in depression, you can't even brush your hair. So make a habit for yourself that you're going to put your clothes on today. You're going to brush your hair today. You're going to wash your face and look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself today. Even if you have to fake it. You know, as a marketer, online marketer, I can't remember what they're called now. ML something, I don't know. Anyways, as one of those, because I worked as one of those for a while. I don't anymore. But anyways, I guess we all kind of do if we're selling our own stuff online. But anyways, it was like fake it till you make it, right? Pretend you're doing all this stuff. And I just couldn't do that because it felt like a lie. I couldn't lie to anybody else, but I can lie to myself because we have already programmed ourselves to lie to ourselves. So what if we just told little white lies to ourselves and faked it till we make it? Till we make it. Like telling yourself you love you, and although you don't feel it yet, bit by bit, telling yourself you're doing okay, telling yourself things are getting better and better, telling yourself everything's working out. Maybe it sounds like you're faking it, but that's okay. Maybe doing your best is faking it every day, and that's okay. Being okay with who you are and where you are in every moment. This is something I really had to learn, because being who you are in this moment, being okay with who you are in this moment is so important. Being who you are, who you choose to be. And I know it's hard to believe that you're choosing this. And we get so down on ourselves about it. It's like, no, get rid of that. Become your own best cheerleader. You wouldn't put your friend down. You would probably do so much to help them feel better about themselves. So do the same for yourself. Your emotions are yours. Start using them to your advantage. So if you are depressed, tell yourself everything's working out. Tell yourself you're doing the best you can. Tell yourself in this moment you're okay. Tell yourself that you don't know what the next moment's going to be, but right here, right now, you're with you and you're okay. You're okay just the way you are. Don't pick on yourself anymore. Get rid of all that. Stop complaining. Stop looking at what's bad. Stop looking at the news. Start looking at the flowers. Stop looking at the trauma and the chaos that's all around you, and start looking at something you love. Maybe it's planting. Maybe it's gardening. Maybe it's drawing. Get back into drawing, even if it's a few lines. How about painting? How about going for a walk? How about just going outside in your bare feet and touching the grass? Wow, wonders that can do for your body, for your mind and your soul. Really can. What if you just chose to write some gratitudes today? Just little ones. Your journey is not anybody else's journey. They can't do it for you, so stop asking them. Stop allowing their experiences to be yours, including mine. Maybe none of this will work for you. Maybe you're on a different journey, and that's okay. But maybe something in this video will help you. Maybe something in this video will connect with you. And that's what you use. You don't have to use the whole video. Just use whatever resonates with you, because you're worth it. It's the little things we get from other people. Not everybody is for us, and that is okay. We're not supposed to be. They're not supposed to be. We're on our own separate journey. We're on our own path. We get to choose who we want to be. We get to choose what we want to do. Today is a brand new day. We get to choose brand new things. We get to choose the person we want to be, the smile we want to use. We get to choose the clothes we want to put on, how we put them on. It's a cool one. One way you can start changing you, and this goes anyway, in any situation, is just start doing things different. So I injured myself many years now. In 2006, no, just turned 2007, I think. And so a year before I got married, I guess. And I injured myself real bad, and I couldn't use my right arm at all. And I'm ambidextrous, but mostly I'm right. My right is my strongest. Lucky for me, I can also use my left, but it was still tricky to do certain things like brushing my hair. That was such a challenge. Signing my name with my left hand, using the mouse with my left hand, like mouse to the computer with my left hand. Typing, I use both for typing, but now I had to use just my left. My right was not usable at all, so everything became one-handed with my left hand, dressing myself. Like I said, brushing my teeth, brushing my hair, washing my face, everything, like how I put my clothes on, it was all left-handed. So try doing stuff like that. Try when you put your shoes on, pay attention. How do I put my shoes on? When you start messing up your brain, things become different. When you start changing things, things become different, and it becomes way better for you. Start learning to do different things. When you're depressed, just learning to get up and start washing your face. Start reading something positive instead of negative. Put yourself into a habit of meditating every morning and listening to positive affirmations. Get away from all the people who are constantly asking you how you're doing. I know it's hard, but ask them instead, to give you something funny or something fun or something that will help you be grateful, something gratitude-wise. Let them tell you how they feel about you instead, that they're proud of you. I'm so proud you woke up today. Oh my goodness, you are so amazing. I am so grateful that you are here with me right now. I'm so overjoyed that we get to spend time together. Look at all the amazing things you've done. You woke up. You may not be feeling great, but you can change that. And yes, it'll take baby steps, but you can do it. I believe in you. You can change your whole life, and I know that because I have, and I've gone through a lot. We all have gone through a lot. And maybe you're thinking that you haven't gone through a lot. But if you're feeling the way you're feeling, you've gone through something, and that means a lot. You are so worth it. You are enough for this life. You are enough for your life. It's time to decide to be who you want to be. Finally, to be you. Maybe you think that you can't because of all the people around you, but you can. They'll either be okay with it or they'll move on and you'll still be okay. I know, because I've had people move on. And it's hard. It's the hardest thing, especially when it's someone you really, really, really love and thought they would be with you for all of your life. But it's okay, because you get to choose you. And if people don't want to be around you because you're being you, that's okay. Let them go. And at some time in their life, they may come back. And that's okay too. You can just love. Your emotions are yours. They get to choose who they want to be. And you get to choose who you want to be. The best you. Life is so much better when you choose you. I love you. I hope you have the most amazing day. Remember, you are so worth it. You are enough. I am very proud of you. And I love you.